Hi everyone, welcome to Pepcoding. So in the continuation video of Python, we are studying our fourth chapter, and today we are going to learn about our second last topic of this chapter, that is cloud computing. So do watch this video till the end, and I assure you till the end you'll for sure understand what actually cloud computing is. So now basically when we try to think about the term cloud computing, what actually firstly comes in our head? If we give a naive thinking, like giving it a naive thinking, very trivial thinking, so we may think that up in the sky there are clouds and some machines are there, and like a very like a thinking like a mad person. So machines are there, and like we are computing with those machines, and to that only we are giving it a term as cloud computing. But this is totally wrong. So basically, what happens? This is a totally a trivial like kind of or naive kind of thing like a child. But what actually is cloud computing is basically forming huge number of connections and giving a way to store our data or anything, storing anything. That is why it is called cloud computing. We may think that why this name has been given. I'll also explain why this name has been given. There is a specific reason behind giving the name cloud computing. What all can we do in cloud computing basically? Like we can store huge amount of data. Basically I'll try giving you some examples, and I like think that with these examples it will be much more easy for anyone to understand what actually cloud computing is. So suppose we have an office out here, and like in this office we have 10 employees. So what at the starting person can do, the owner or any IT person out here, the um, person at IT position out here, basically, or a software developer position. Anything, the position who sees the records, the person who sees the records. So what he can do, he can store this 10 people's data in his local system. The documents and all, everything can be stored in this local system. Now, in the second case, we have 100 employees out here. Like the company has to explore, and now it has hired a total of 100 employees totally has acquired. So now if a person, like the same person, has to store the data of all these 100 people out here, the same local PC. Yeah, that's also easy, but will take quite much factors. Now we consider that this company needs to scale more, and now it has a total number of employees as 1000. Now again, storing the data of this 1000 people in one local PC, it is also quite tough, but it can also be done. Now let's assume our last case, that basically this company has grown a lot. It was a startup, it was growing slowly, and now the startup has grown a lot, and it has a total employee of 10,000. So now this is a very different case where people has to, the same person, the same team has to store a data of 10,000 people, though this can also be done. But what happens is, for storing the data of these 10,000 people, the company needs to either get a like big PC out there and store data to this, and like they need to get some hard disk like HHD. It needs to get HHD, SSD, anything to store so that they can store the data. And like for the maintenance, also maintenance, updation, everything of the data. One, if an employee is coming, it needs to entry in that. If an employee is reducing, then it needs to delete that employee. Like if someone is resigning or someone has been fired, they need to reduce the data. But what actually is happening right now is, the same company has to do a lot of work. They are buying the PC, they are buying some hard disk so that the like stuffs can be stored, and like the employees can be like handled or managed. So basically what this is, a quite time taking as well as a much more expensive task. Basically what we can say is, it is expensive, it is an expensive task. But to make it not an expensive task, we have a term that is called cloud computing. And now this cloud computing is, we can have something where a different organization or a company will provide a service, will provide us the service of storing all the data of our employees, of all our data of employees. Like, it will store, and whatever functions needs to be done, this company will be doing, and whatever like functionality or whatever updation, deletion, or anything of our employees, our database, anything of our data, the total thing will be done by this extra, the another organization which will be providing us this service. And in like in return, we just need to give few amount of like few sum of convenience fee, or basically like we can say nominance charge. Like basically whatever work we are doing, that amount we need to pay to that company, and our work will be done. So out here what we can do is, uh, if we have this case, in our second case, what happens is we can totally focus on our work, on our company's work. We don't have to focus on our database, we don't have to focus on anything. Our work will be done by the company and all, like everything will be done out here only. So we don't need to focus on anything, and we can totally focus on our work, and we just need to pay some fees to this, some amount of fees to this company, and this company will do our work. So that is where cloud computing comes. They, what they do is, they have big machines, they have big servers, they store our data, they store the data in whatever amount we want, and like that is how they do our task. And they take some nominance fee, and our task has been done, and we are also okay, they are also okay with that. And that is how we can store as much data as we want. So we may also be thinking how this name, like how name as how we named it as cloud computing. Why did we say it as cloud computing? Now I'll let you know. Like we have, what does a cloud consist of? It consists of water droplets, right? Like water droplets are totally, this cloud is totally not at a specific position. It moves here and there, wherever it is much more evaporated, water is much more evaporated, so the water droplets get stored, and like lastly it rains. So basically what the cloud does, it stores water droplets, right? Likewise, now in our cloud computing, what happens is, as many as employees we have, we can demand for that much work only with that cloud computing company that is providing us the service of cloud computing. So we can only demand, if we have 100 employees, we can only say that right now I have less number of employees, so I'll only require 10 GB of data. So I'll only pay that company for 10 GB of data. Now, what would happen if I would store in my local PC? We can assume that we were having 10,000 employees, and once I had bought everything, I myself had bought everything. I bought hard disk, I bought some extra PCs to store the data, and lastly, we never know like what unfortunate situations can come. If COVID-19 only comes again, like if COVID has come again, so if we are giving everyone work from home, so we think that everyone is not required to us, we may also take out some employees, and from 10,000 we only require 1,000 employees, and with our work can only work with, like our work can be done with 1,000 employees. So what happens in this case, our totally, if we have buy this number of like hard disk and extra PCs, our, it will be a waste, because waste of money, because now we don't have that much employees also, and like everything, maintenance of this hard disk, and like or anything maintenance, it will go in a vain. But if we were giving the same task to another company, if we had 100 employees, we could demand a thing for 100 employees. If we have 1,000 employees, so we can demand a thing for 1,000 employees. If we have 10,000 employees, we could demand according to the number of employees, that is 10,000 employees. So basically what happens, it is also being in the form of water droplets. Basically, as number as water droplets, likewise cloud becomes much bigger. As number as people, likewise the organization has that amount of work. So that is how it has been like termed as cloud computing. Now what all does cloud computing like give us? Basically how it is done, it stores into servers, into like from mobile only we can access, each one of you and me, everyone today in our day-to-day life, somehow or the other we are using cloud computing. Way it become in any form, in the medium of like we're storing our photos somewhere, like deleting it from our local phones and like storing it somewhere in the cloud. uh, Cloud basically storing it somewhere in the server. Now many of like the companies give currently are giving like us the services. Basically what kind of services? The services where people can store their data, like we see Google Photos. We see Google Photos. Now when we talk about Google Photos, what we do is in our local PC, or sorry, in our local like in our mobile phone, once we click any image, so we have clicked that image, we see that image is, yeah, that is a very good image. Now we want this image in the future also. So what we'll do is we'll store this photos in our Google Photos. That is a cloud basically, which provides us a functionality of cloud where we can store our photo and we can delete it from our mobile phones. And anytime we want those photos 1 or 2 years after, we can go to our we can log into our IDs, or anything can happen. If our mobile phone has been lost, we can again buy a new mobile phone, and in that we can log into our ID, and same thing has been stored as we have stored that in Google Photos. So that cloud is already the photos are already present in the cloud, so we get the photos back in our Google Photos. So this way what happens, our network is being built, our network has been built, and likewise cloud computing works. Like big organizations, I gave you examples, storing the like continuously storing data of employees, day by day, increasing, decreasing. This is a very time taking as well as a costly task, which is not prioritized firstly. So what we do, we give some nominal charge to some companies which provides us the service of cloud. It stores our data, our employees data, and does everything for us. Just we need to pay some amount of fees, so that is more cheap as well as that is more safe, secure. We can say everything basically. We have different types of cloud: private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, as well as we have one more as community cloud. So I'll tell you about these below. So coming down, now what we have is our, so what all does cloud give us? The features is resource pooling. Basically what this means is storing our resource. Like pooling means basically doing it in like keeping stuff in one place. So whatever things we want, basically in our Google Drives, even AWS also provides us the same thing. Google Cloud provides us. Microsoft Azure is also an example. Microsoft Microsoft Azure is also an example. AWS is also an example. Google Cloud, as I already mentioned, Google Cloud is also an example. So resource pooling means we in cloud computing. This is a feature of cloud computing, that it keeps our resources at one place. Whenever we want, we can go and just take out our resource. That gives us uh, basically, firstly, like we see Google Photos provides us 15 GB. After 15 GB, if we want more extra space, we pay them and we take that space. So basically it uses pay as you go model. This is the main model which is used by cloud computing. Like people, uh, what it does is as much as like space you want. If you want 10 GB, so you pay for 10 GB and you use this 10 GB. If you want more, or if you want less, you accordingly pay, or lessen the amount and work accordingly. If you want 100 GB, you pay for this 100 GB and you work with this 100 GB. So pay as you go model. If you want more, so you are paying more. If you now you see that you have less amount of work, so you ask for them, like you ask for less storage, or you take less storage and take the plan according to it. So basically it's totally easy, as much as you want. Basically we can say on demand service. We can say it as, we can term that basic definition as on demand service. Whenever we want, like whenever our work is demanding for this thing, more space, so we take this service. That is basically an on demand service. This is totally economical, as we saw that it provides us according to our necessity. So it is an automatic system. We don't need to do anything. Everything will be done by that cloud computing organization who is actually giving us the feature, who is providing us the service of cloud computing. Everything will be done. That is easy maintenance. It has easy maintenance. We don't have to do anything. We just need to save everything in our uh, Drive cloud, basically in the Google Photos or Drive Docs, whatever we can say. Just we need is what I think is internet. You should have proper like connectivity of internet. Internet is required so that you can either like save the data, or like if you want the data you can get it back, you can save it back to your device. It is a large area, like large network access. So that is how we even gave the like term as cloud computing, because it stores large amount of data according to our necessity. It is every time available. uh just the same thing again, that as much as data you want, likewise you pay, likewise you use. So it is totally available. It's never that you only have in local PC. What would happen without a cloud computing? Assume that you had 100 GB of space. Now that 100 GB has been employed, it's totally been filled by such number of employees. Now if more employees are coming to the organization, if like scaling, if the company is scaling more, so you want more like space, so you have to again buy, you again need to set up the space, hard disk, and again then store basically. So that's quite expensive as well as time taking. Better to hire a cloud computing company, anything Google Cloud, AWS, and then buying storages or like services from them, and everything will be done by them only. Either we have more employees, either we have less employees, likewise we can like complete our task or save our data. It is secure, of course it is secure, because you have your own login ID password, and with this ID passwords only you can access the cloud. Without ID password you cannot access the cloud. And it is a measured service after all, because uh, number of measurement depends upon you. That is also why it is called as on demand service, or like economical, because whatever amount you need, so whatever amount you need, they provide you according to that only. So today not only like Google Cloud, like previously it was Google Cloud and like AWS and Microsoft Azure, but now slowly even IBM Cloud, they have like explored with cloud computing, and they are providing cloud services, as well as Alibaba Cloud are also providing you services, who like basically who is providing the same service like what Google and Google AWS is doing. Even iCloud is an example of cloud computing. iCloud is also like providing cloud computing services. Now coming back, and we've seen the features, as I already explained you the definition. This is the definition, like or we can say, we can term cloud computing is getting more and more popularity day by day. Of course, it's being popular day by day. In the coming time, it's going to explore a lot, because people are because today everything is being or working according to the data. So in the coming time, cloud computing is going to explore a lot day by day. It's like being popular, and the reason behind is the gradual growth of the company, because we are having more startups in any country. We see there are more startups, and those startups hire employees. Employees are being hired. Likewise the data is increasing, because now if you are hiring someone, you need to know about their background, their data. So likewise the data is increasing, which needs a place, to store that data. So of course, if you want to store their data, you need an organization, you need someone who can store your data, and just some fees, nominal charges will be given to them, and your data will be stored very easily. Therefore companies are in competition to provide large space to store data, along with various features and quality service. Basically they are providing lots of feature. If you buy this amount of space, and this amount, like if you're buying 100 GB, So you'll get 10 GB extra for free if you're buying 1,000. Like according to their protocols, or like we can say features or offers, they are providing much more like quality, like much more features and quality service. Because today the scenario is that it's been a competition for cloud computing, because day by day the data and the number of companies are increasing, so number of employees will increase. Number of employees increasing means number of data will be increased. So likewise, cloud computing is exploring day by day and getting much more popular this time. So basically, it has been found that cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to the cloud computing. Basically, like ubiquitous is again the same thing. Getting everything in one, storing your data in one. Convenient, it is of course convenient. On-demand network access, as it's the most um, useful feature, which I think is very good, that whenever you demand for something you get that service. If you are not demanding, if you have less requirement, now previously you were requiring 100 GB, now if you require only 90 GB, so I'll only pay for 90 GB. I'll decrease 10 GB of space and I'll only pay for 90 GB. So likewise, it's my demand. According to my demand, things will work. According to your demand, things will work. So that is being provided by cloud computing. So now coming to the features of cloud computing, as I already mentioned the features of cloud computing previously. The same thing, that feature comes like it's an on-demand self-service. Whatever you are demanding will be provided. It's easy maintenance. It has a large network access, of course. Availability, as much as like space you want, you can demand them. It's totally available. An automatic system. You don't need to do anything. You just need to pay them the charge, and rest work is theirs. Economical. It is only like some amount of fees, like this totally like less amount of fees, and it's totally safe, secure. Your data won't go here and there because you'll have your own credentials. So you don't need to worry about like the same thing again. Where all do we use our cloud computing? You can also see this. So of course, we use cloud computing create new apps and services, because when you're creating a new app or you're giving some new service, you all of course expect, if you're giving some new service, so you expect users to come in. And when users come in, you'll ask for their data. What is your name, what is your ID or mobile number and all. So you need to store this data somewhere, or else how will they, like if they'll enter and it will be vanished, so that will be of no use. So for that you need a cloud where you can store. If you are providing a new app or any services, so you require that thing. So it is also used to store, backup and recover data. As I already mentioned, that if you are storing a like photo from your smartphone to the cloud out there, so what you do, you store the photo out there and you delete it from your phone. The photo is deleted from the phone now, and after that, whenever you require it again, you back up from that cloud, you get it in the phone, and after that you can like see that photo. Host websites, of course, you're hosting websites, blogs, that also needs to be stored somewhere in some servers. That is a cloud basically, so that if you're hosting somewhere, then only people can come and like people can see your blogs, they can read it, you read your blogs and all. Because if you're storing it in your local PC, then only you have the access to store. But if you are storing it somewhere in the server and giving it access to like authorized person, so they can go and read it out there. Also, I'll give you a major example in today's scenario. If we talk about examination, examination is being online. Of course, that is one of the feature that cloud has been worked on. Now, when we talk about examination, so in this examination, what is happening? What we are doing is we are giving our examinations online due to COVID. Now, how are we giving this online? We are going in a specific website. Our link is provided to us. We are going out there and we are giving, like choosing the MCQs or writing answers out there. So how is this common for everyone? So this is common because it has been stored in a cloud, it has been stored in a server out there somewhere, because it is not only one server that is storing your data. If one server has been destroyed or deteriorated, so what happens, it will it your data is already safe. That is why it is again secure, that your data is already safe, and now from that another device or another server your data will be coming, and at a same place that website has been like hosted at the same server. So now every student from their own like native places, they are going to that website and they are giving examinations from home. That is how cloud is being used today. And to stream audio and video, deliver software on demand. Of course, that is one of the major feature of cloud. Analyze data and patterns and make predictions. That is what we learned in our like AI and ML. Also, they analyze data. They make patterns in the form of like clustering is done out there, and then after the data, with the data they do predictions. The machine do predictions. Likewise, our AI and ML also works, which I explained in our second video after the introduction. So cloud computing basically offers platform independency because software is not required to be installed locally on the PC. Of course, you don't have to require anything, like you don't have to require or download any software for cloud computing. Everything is basically independent. You can directly use it. You can directly back up your photos and like anything in your IDs, mail IDs and all. Thus applications are being mobile and collaborative. Likewise, your applications are totally portable. Your in your hand only, everything is there. That is your mobile phone and all. You can do each and every task from your mobile phone. Now, coming on to the working models of cloud computing. So basically, we have three models of our cloud computing. That is, one is IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. So IaaS is basically infrastructure as a service. PaaS is a platform as a service. SaaS is a software as a service. So in SaaS, what is done is a complete application is being offered by a company out here. Like totally Google is using it, like Google is like providing us, Microsoft is providing like using it, and also like Zoho, Salesforce, everyone is like, basically what happens is we are provided with emails. How this work is done: email, CRM is collaborative. Basically in ERP also, we see in official sites ERP is mostly required. Basically SaaS is one of the best model that is assumed, or that is said to be the best, because it provides totally like total thing out in one only. And then after comes this PaaS, and then after it comes this IaaS. So PaaS is platform as a service. In PaaS, basically a development environment of services provided, where you can build bigger stuffs than PaaS. Basically AWS provides this. Basically what we use, Linux and Linux OS we use out here. We try using Linux. Basically it's much more secure. That is why even like Azure also, Windows Azure also uses this. And basically what it does, application development, decision support, web streaming, everything is done out here in PaaS. Now comes our infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure basically we only have to create stuff. On demand, basically as number, like as amount whatever we require. Like if we require 10 GB, so we are demanding 10 GB. Pay and use model is everywhere, but what happens basically is, if we require 10 GB only at once, only I require today 10 GB, and it will work for around coming 10 years. I'll manage with this 10 GB. So basically out there, what a company does, a company basically uses SaaS. After that, lower people comes with PaaS, and then after very low people, like who requires low, basically low people means who requires low, uh, it, like uses infrastructure as a service. Basically short amount of demand and short usage, nothing else. Caching, networking, security, system management is everything which comes. I also told you about like there are three types basically of cloud computing. That is private, public, and hybrid. also community. We also have community, which I already mentioned it in the first slide. Now I'll explain it to you what private basically, what I meant by private. Now, what does private mean is that basically an organization. So I'll firstly explain public, which will, it will be much more easier. If you are having a Google Photos, now in this Google Photos, what happens is every public can using their smartphones or PC, they can store their data, and every like public they can store their data, and everyone can use this cloud to store their data. So this is what public cloud means. Now coming to private cloud. Now what does private cloud mean? So out, if you are having an organization, and in this organization you also have a cloud, your own cloud, basically a private cloud. So what will happen is only the authorized members of the organization can have access, not public. Any people cannot have cannot use this cloud for their service. But what happens is only the authorized person of the company will be able to use this private cloud because this has been made private by the organization, and so that is private cloud. Now comes hybrid cloud. Now comes hybrid cloud. So I told you Google Photos is an example of public cloud. Private cloud, any organization is an example, any organization. So now comes hybrid cloud. What does hybrid cloud means? Now when consisting of both public and private cloud makes a hybrid cloud. Basically what happens out here, both public people and like private of any organization can come and use this hybrid cloud. I'll take an example. If you're having any taxi firm which is running a taxi in the market, and like it is providing you the service to take you home. So anyone can like opt for this hybrid cloud. Any people, like public people can also come, private people can also come, all the people can come and use this hybrid cloud, and their servers, and they can book a cab, and they can travel from here to there, one place to another. And community is basically community. We have one more. I told you about private cloud, I told you about public cloud, I told you about hybrid cloud. Also we have one more which is not mentioned out here, but it's mentioned in your book. So that is community cloud. Community cloud is basically the cloud where different number of organization, it's basically a form where different organizations, like private organization, there are many private organization, one single private organization makes a single private cloud. Now many private organizations makes basically a community cloud at one place, and to this community cloud, all this organization, the members of this private organizations can use. So that is what community cloud means. So I hope you have got lots of insights about cloud computing. uh, Read your book once more and listen to this video again if you've not understood, and try like try implementing the given examples with your day-to-day lives too, and you're like you'll with this video you'll learn a lot, and you may have learned a lot. You also need to implement in it, like think according to your day-to-day life uses also. Likewise you can explore a lot with cloud computing. Thank you all for listening to me, and stay tuned. We are coming up with the next topic, that is blockchain technology, in the next video. Stay tuned, and thank you so much.